Well, I've just come down to the plot and I've got that. From the wise old elf himself. He's given us some more of those climbing beans. Rivendell climbing beans from the elf. Oh, cheers, Joe. Thank you very much, mate. So, to save our little car, and with the grace of the magician, Magical Mick Darbyshire from old McDarby's farm, he's picked these up for us in the zombie apocalypse vehicle that he's got. The Mitsubishi Warrior, which is a fantastic bit of kit, pickup truck. And so yeah, we brought them all down as a job lot. Really, that's what we've ended up with there. And I'm not actually counting them up, how many we've got. Of the smaller ones, which are sort of like 20-inch flags, these ones, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. The 2-foot square ones, actually I'm guessing they're maybe a little bit more than 2 foot, I'll have to measure them. But the big ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them. And that's going to be more than enough. More than enough, that, to finish off the path that we've got here. So that's going to go all the way up. I may well, actually, if I've got enough flag or paving slab, continue it on and take these concrete bases out. And if I take those concrete bases out, I'm sure I can make some good use of them and maybe get a planter. Get a bed in there, a high sectional bed in with those. I'm just got to figure out where I'm going to put that, but then we'd have the uniform flagging, the 2-foot flags all the way up to the top. But that's going to be a job in itself. That's a full day of a job. That I might do that tomorrow potentially, although we have got to go and do the garden for the kids in care garden tomorrow. But I'm well made up with that, though. That's a result. We can get the flags done and all the paving done in here, all the way to the back there, and then where the cutaway is here, potentially have all this paved. The smaller flags, I would guess, would go in here, but let's take a look. Divine Providence once more shines her light upon us. I measured those out actually at I think it was 19.5 inches, because these are 18-inch flags. So I think I measured the gap between them at 19.5 inches so that they would go in there. I remember doing that now. So there's the flags for there, the pave for there. Oh, I have to clear up in here as well. It's a disgrace again. The more space I have, the more space I flaming use. So we're going to get those in there, and I think that should be sufficient to do the job. Get some of the flags in there. Going to have to level it all out and get some coarse builder's sand to put under there so I can level it out properly. And then where there isn't going to be any flag, I'm going to put gravel all down the sides, fill the gaps with gravel, but get the coarse sand, the coarse builder's sand underneath those so I can level them out properly. So that they're firm. This is going to have to be dug out. I like making work for myself, me, don't I? But in the end, it'll look smart in here. It'll look good. And we're all about the aesthetics, aren't we? We're all about the aesthetics down here on the Little Farmer's Farm, that's for sure. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's coming together nicely. It's karma, really. I think if you do good deeds and get that balance right, karma or fate lends a hand. We hope. It doesn't always work out that way, but I'm a strong believer in paying it forward, doing good things, and then good things happen to you. All part of God's cosmic master plan. Yippee! We've got an ant farm. Would you like to see it? 3, 2, 1. Ant farm. Look at that. I don't know if you can make them out, but I think those are like sort of egg cells. I won't disturb them anymore. They're black ants, but it's just riddled with them. No, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there must be 1 million ants inside that. I remember when I was a kid, and there was like B movies called like Dawn of the Ants and Empire of the Ants, and they always used to really creep me out, ants, because they were sort of taking over the world like in these films, and they still give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit, ants. I don't know why. But they'll be aphid farming if I don't watch out, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on those little buggers. And if it gets to be a bit of a problem, there might be a big boiled kettle going on top of them. Don't like doing stuff like that, but if it is a problem and they're affecting the crops, I'm going to have to deal with that. So yeah, it's got to be about 100,000 at least ants inside that compost bin, which is I don't think a very good thing. Right, now I'm pretty sure it was 20 days ago, me, Helen, the little farmer and the mini digger planted up the peas into this gutter, this 4 foot long gutter, and as you can see, they're bursting through with much vibrance as well, because they're looking quite nice. They've not been affected by the frosts because they're inside the tiki tunnel, and they seem to be doing quite well, which is good, because they're going to fill some gaps where the peas have suffered outside. We're going to be filling some gaps with those. So in about another week's time, when they're about this high, they'll all be going out those, and we'll start again. We'll get more peas in. If I had more guttering, I could do it potentially all the way along there, or along here. Do you know what I mean? 4 foot, 4 foot, 4 foot. Shouldn't interfere too much at the moment with that. And I can always move this bar, I can always move that up a peg, so as these grow, they can spread the wings and not interfere with anything that's hanging off the main bars that are there. It's so utilitarian, I suppose you'd call it, ergonomic, utilitarian, whatever you want to call it, to have these trampoline frame polytunnels. I keep going on about them, but the trampoline frames, if you've been following us, are absolutely ideal as a growing space. Absolutely ideal. Right, I'll shut up. Bitter old Jack Frost. Everybody's been hit with it on the potatoes. Everyone. Even Rivendell. And the little farm too. Now, I've just been speaking to Pat, who's the secretary down here, and she's been given some advice that because these are now dead, these tops, from an old guy who's been working these plots now for 51 years, the advice from him is to take away all that dead growth at the top, and if we don't get another bad frost, what should happen is the plants underneath will produce more leaf and send it up. They reckon it'll knock them back a week or two, so the harvest will be a bit later on them, but they should survive and come back. But the advice is to take off the dead, so we're going to do that. We're going to take all those frost burnt leaves off, and if you look there, it is coming through with fresh growth underneath. He said, but obviously because that'll rot off and cause issues, to take it away. It's serving no purpose but to harm the plant at the moment. That, so we're going to do that. We're going to do that right now. I think I'll remove some of the competition in the form of the radishes, because they're ready for coming up, those radishes now. I'll take those out as well, and weed it. Not many weeds in this because I keep on top of it, but we'll get rid of those as well. But you can see there is new growth bursting through, and some of the potatoes have found refuge underneath the little bench thing that we've got there. They're coming through there, so I might have to take that off, that timber, now. But yeah, some of them I've cut right down to the ground. We'll see what happens with them. I'm not going to do that with all of them, to be honest, in case, you know, the growing tip, cutting the growing tip off, spoils them. So I'm leaving it on some of them for about a week or so, and then we'll see what happens there. Yeah, it's always a bit of a worry, isn't it? But you can't fight Mother Nature, boys and girls. So I'm going to take these radishes out, I think, now. They're ready now to come out. And that'll be the first true harvest. Just pulled the first one up there. And it's a ping pong ball sized radish. So we're going to get a few of those out now. There's some really nice specimens there. And as you can see from that, there's about 4 different varieties, colours and hues. We're very much in favour of diversity here on the Little Farmer's Farm in Eden. And so you've got the like pinky coloured ones that are there. Then there's like a deep purpley colour, like a burgundy colour, a kind of a light beige, and a pure white. That's about a quarter of the crop. But I just thought I'd show you those because they're lovely, aren't they? Lovely little radishes. I'll be eating some of them later on. The lady farmer adores radish. She really likes radish. So we're going to be doing some stuff with those. I've left about half of them in the ground, and there's about the same again of those that are in a bag already, ready for taking home. But I'm going to take the lot home, wash them up, process them, eat quite a few in salads this week. Happy days! That's a catch crop between the rows of potatoes. If you've been keeping up with the show, and they were only sort of seeded in there about 8 weeks ago, something like that. There's some decent sized ones amongst them, like ping pong ball sized ones. But yeah, you can eat the radish tops. You can eat the radish itself. The entire plant is edible. And it's going to be eaten as well by the MURPHINDAs over the next week or two. So yeah, there's about 3 pounds in weight of edible veg inside that bag. And we've got the same again in the ground, so that's going to be like 6 pounds of edible vegetables. The seeds cost us 10 pence at the end of last season. And it was a mixed bag of seeds like that. And yeah. So for the price of 10p, there's 6 pounds worth of food there. £6 sterling worth of food. Well, actually, there's probably more. 6 pounds in weight. How much are radishes if you're buying them in the shops? I mean, I don't know. Probably a tenner's worth, isn't there? £6 weight at least. Now, in these last 3 potato trenches, we've interplanted those with a catch crop, hopefully, of the bolt hardy beetroot. Now the bolt hardy beetroot should be about another 4 to 5 weeks, and we'll get the sort of golf ball size beetroots off these because they're all sort of cluster planted, about 2 or 3 per station. And that's what we want. We want the little sweet beets from that, and by that time the Sarpo mirrors should be bursted up. They're there now, coming through, some of them, but they're buried like a foot down below the soil. So in about 2 or 3 weeks they'll be up here, and so will these. So these will be ready for harvesting. We can harvest them when they're smaller than that, doesn't really matter. It's a catch crop. And again, we just threw the seeds in together in the stations, and there you go. In fact, we had them in cells, didn't we? We planted them in there probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So in another 4 or 5 weeks, they'll be ready for harvesting as small beets. Like it. Good, innit? And say the radishes, there's still plenty of radish in. I've left quite a few in there just to develop on a little bit more. Probably the same again as what we've just harvested. So in another week's time they'll be coming out for more food. So this is the chard that we left in last year. Got like the standard Swiss, which is the white stemmed stuff there, and also ruby chard with those really vibrant red stems on them and the red veined leaf. It started to bolt. We left them in over winter and they went back to practically nothing, but then over the last couple of months we've had such growth on them and they're starting to bolt now. So the central stem, I'm gonna head that off and cut that out, leaving the side leaves. But I'm going to take some of that tonight and we're going to add that to a soup along with the radish tops, and we'll have a green soup, and also the leeks and some potatoes. So it'll be leek, potato, chard and radish top soup. Why not? There's never a dull moment, you know, in Eden. Magical McDarbyshire from old McDarby's Farms just dropped that off for us, which is a 2 foot by 5 foot Formica worktop, kitchen worktop. I've got to find a home for that. It's brand new. It was still in the bloody wrapper when it came, that. That will be excellent because obviously it's going to be heat resistant and water resistant on the top of it. Ideal as a bench or as a table. I could make a table out of that. Oh, that's got me thinking now, Michael. Right, so what that needs is cutting down to 18 inches by 4'2", and it'll fit perfectly in there then. Let's get it on that. Thank you, Michael. Absolutely superb as ever. Let's have a brew while we think. What coffee? This is going to be good, I bet. Hold on to your hats. So I've marked on there to the shape that I want. I want this piece. We're going to be left with a few offcuts, which I'm sure I can make a shelf out of that and a thin shelf out of that for the tiki hut. This is brilliant, Mick. You are a supersonic superstar of magical proportions and a professor of the allotments. Bloody good shot, sir. Lovely straight lines and plenty in the tank. That's the size that I need. Woo-hee! There's 2 more shelves there. There's 2 more shelves there. A 10-inch one, short fat one, and a long 6-inch shelf. They'll be going in there. Have no fear. This is excellent, excellent stuff. Mickey! Well done, Michael. Fantastic, fandabidosi. Floating shelf put in there. A Formica worktop within half an hour of acquisition. Now I'm going to bead around. I wanted it a bit lower, see, because I'm going to bead around all of that and seal that in. Okay, all around. Oh, superb! Oh, yes. Hello. Me again. So it's in, it's level. We're just going to fix it in now. So I've done a pilot hole, or a series of pilot holes, using the 5mm wood drill bit. I'm just going to stick some more screws in. These are 70mm screws into the holes that we've made with the pilot drill, one-handedly. And they self-countersink because of the pilot hole. So it's happy day, isn't it? In there you go, and they'll fix then to the 2x4 timber, which is underneath as the bracket support for the floating table. that's going to be strong enough to carry the weight that's on these easily. And there we go. Oh yes, I'm the great MURPHINDA. Ooh, top table maker to the stars. I like that. Floating table, all well braced, solid as a rock. Happy days. Cheers, magical McDarbyshire from old McDarby's farm. Check him out. He is a megastar of gargantuan proportions. Once again, I am sitting on my floating table creation, and it isn't budging an inch. 14 stone 2. Crack on! Excellent stuff. Hello, back again. Now, I'm thinking about planting some leeks out, and I'm thinking about banging them into this bed behind me. That was beans last year. It was all beans. It was French climbing beans. This year, I'm just going to leave the caging in and everything, and put the leeks in there. I reckon I'll get about 40 leeks in there, easy. And that's what we're going to do, because we're coming up to the end of our time now, our allocated time. The government has actually relaxed that for exercise, but it's not just exercise, it's also food production, and the mental health benefits and physical benefits of doing the gardening are there. But down on the allotments we've still got the restrictions, so we can have 2 hours per plot. So I've got about another hour left, and that's what I'm going to do. Alright, we'll crack on. So this is our hole making implement, which is a long cane. All we're going to do is, if I can film this, put a hole in the ground, the depth, and do that all the way along, about 4 inches deep, bang in the leek, and I'll show you the next phase. So those holes are about 5 inches deep, and all we do with the leeks is just pop them into the bottom of the holes and leave them to it. Some people like Joe trim the roots. I may trim the roots. In fact, I will. I'll trim the roots. We'll copy Joe's method. He cuts the hair as well, but I'm not going to bother cutting the hair, but I'll trim the roots. Trim about 1/3 off the root, and then pop them in there and water them in. That's all you do. So yeah, leeks, you just push them down 2 or 3 inches into the ground, into the holes that you've made. You've pre-made the holes, obviously. They go in there. Try and straighten them up if you can, and get rid of any sycamore seeds. They're in there now. I'm just going to gentle water in. I've not got a fine rose for my watering can, so I'm just going to get the little watering can and just gently water them in now. And by tomorrow, I can give them a normal watering, I think. They'll all stand up, hopefully, like little soldiers on parade. Don't know how many are in there, probably about 40 altogether. And happy days, leeks, leek and potato soup, superb. And there they are, all nicely watered in, standing up straight and true, like good guardsmen should. Lovely. Fingers crossed for those leeks. Leek and potato, beautiful. I've just put the mastic around the edges there, and that's just to protect the wood. Smeared a bit on there when I had a bit of an overlap. And what I'll do is I can clean that up with a razor blade later, so it looks a bit neater. But that is the ideal height and everything. I'm sat on my little chair now, my folding chair, and I'm absolutely made up with that. countersunk into the timbers. It's all solid as a rock. As I say, I've been sat on it, and oh, it's brilliant, absolutely ace. There's the other floating table over there, but it's not got the Formica top finish that this one has. God, it's like a home from home. She'll be telling me off for moving in here in a bit. If ever she does kick me out, I'll be laughing, won't I? The lady farmer. Not that I want to be kicked out, honey pie. But yeah, love it, absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm just about to leave now. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, please hit the like button, comment and subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, then please hit the bell notification button down below, and then you won't miss another exciting episode from here in Eden, the Eden plots. God bless you all. See you later.